Music. Why did I say that? Oh God, these are quite late games, huh? It's very tiring at some points. I believe we are set up. ESPN standings just do not want to cooperate. Okay, okay, finally, about time. Okay, yeah, we chill. All right. Let's begin, shall we? What up, Suns fans? Suns win 3 games in a row, this time against division rivals, the LA Clippers. Suns get the big win in a very close game near the end that really should have been close at all. Anyway, final scores Suns 111 to the LA Clippers 109. There has been a lot that has happened recently that we need to talk about. All right. So we will get all into that in just a few seconds.
Kevin Durant delivers. Gorgeous move from Bradley Beal.
Personally, I feel like that brother needed help.
Devin Booker with the clutch three.
Whoo! This was oh my god. I am I hope this just portrays my excitement here that I could barely think of my words here for a second. But what a win from the Suns. This is a big time win. Not only is it like a big win for the Suns to continue climbing up the West, because the Clippers are a team above us on the standings wise, but also the LA Clippers have some of the best defense in the entire league. Currently, according to the NBA stats website that I have here, Clippers are rated with the second highest defensive rating in the whole NBA. And well, your Phoenix Suns tonight emerged with a 2-point victory over the Clippers. But it really didn't feel that way in a lot of ways because simply the Suns came out and dominated. I was a little shaky about this one. I'll admit it. All right. On my predictions here, I did predict that we would lose this game. All right, because the Clippers are a really defensive team, and the Suns, offensive wise, haven't looked the greatest over the last couple of games. But oh boy, is this a confusing game to insert into the next, into what I thought the Suns have, what the Suns are. This game changes a lot of minds. And I think it reiterates the idea of what Ishbia and everyone had creating this team, is that this is what the Suns can be when they're all clicking, when they're all fighting, when they're all rebounding, shooting. It was just an overall great team win. Unfortunate that the Suns could not play a solid 48 minutes, and that looks to be the concern for the Suns here. The biggest of my concern tonight is that we weren't able to keep this high of just play style for a whole 48 minutes. And that's a little concerning because while the Suns looked amazing, let me say, they looked amazing in that first half. They were rebounding, we were leading the rebounds. Just to sprinkle some halftime stats at you, the Suns were 13. They had a 13-point lead at halftime. They had 10 more made threes than the Clippers at halftime, 9 more rebounds, and individually they had 6 more offensive rebounds and 3 more defensive rebounds. The way the Suns were moving in that first half was quite awesome. It was quite literally the best I've ever seen the Suns work together this season, as they scored 60 points in that first half. Now, the question starts becoming that the Suns they couldn't keep this up for 48 minutes. As while, yes, they did score 60 in a whole half, they then turned around and for the second half allowed the Clippers 62 in the second half. And that was a main thing that allowed the Clippers to be able to walk back into this game. That third quarter, Clippers outscored the Suns by 31 to 23, and it was bad out there. The Suns just, it looked really like they accepted defeat out there, as all the ball movements, all the just rotations on offense that allowed each other to get open all suddenly stopped. And rebounds, fighting for rebounds also stopped, as the Clippers were able to climb back into this game. And after a close fourth quarter with just a lot of punches being thrown from either team, Suns were able to walk away with this one. So that is my main concern about tonight. Obviously, the Suns are not able to do this every night. It's kind of the one thing that sucks about the Suns being inconsistent. It's great that we have nights like this, but are they going to continue having nights like this? Probably not. Because we've seen nights by the Suns where they've been able to rebound the ball. Sure, they've been able to get the open looks, but if the hoop is just not falling for them, then there's not much you could do about that for the Suns, and it creates this inconsistency for the Suns on their offense. But tonight was the one rare occurrence where the Suns ball was flying for them very early on. I do not have the stats, but I believe it was brought up sometime during the broadcast that the Suns made 22 made threes as a complete team, and they attempted almost 47 of them. That is a 46% 3-point percentage. So to say the Suns were hot is quite an understatement in that first half. They were amazing, and I wish to see more of that Suns team. Um, that's just kind of an overview of tonight. That second half did end up giving away the rebound battle, as the Suns lost the rebound battle by 3. The Clippers had 42 rebounds. The Suns had 39. So that is unfortunate. Uh, but the Suns were able to clutch up on defense. Pretty even in turnovers, honestly. The Suns had 17 turnovers, but were able to force a Clippers 15 turnovers. So that was, we even scored more. Just looking off of the stats, forced wait, I am reading these stats awfully. I'm sorry. So the Suns allowed 17 turnovers, but that allowed the Clippers to score 24 points off of that, and the Suns had 15. Or I'm struggling here. Holy. The Clippers had 15 turnovers, and that ended up the Suns netting them 18 points. So, well, turnovers are still a problem, but the fact that we were able to come out so hot offensively is what really saved this game. As really, if the Suns never caught fire, it was going to be a tough game either way. So I'm glad that the Suns were able to come out one time and get the victory in a convincing fashion. Although, like I've already said, it's 48 minutes being played. That part is concerning. Individually, we have your notable players. Devin Booker, who played a huge role tonight. He had 26 points on the night, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, and he had 5 fouls. Some of those a little bogus, but it's just off the stat sheet. More importantly, Devin Booker was affecting different levels of the game, and he really wanted this one, causing crucial jump balls. I remember somewhere during the second half, he noticed James Harden didn't have proper control over the ball and he swarmed that opportunity and ended up in the Suns' possession because he forced the jump ball. It's just little things like that that gave the Suns that two extra points that secured the win for the Suns tonight. And Booker was he was ready and he answered last game's offensive questions. As last game against the Wizards, he did go 0 of 8, but he answered back this game going 5 of 10 from 3, 50%. He did go 9 of 21 overall from the field, but that's still 26 points that the Suns desperately needed. KD played 40 minutes, 24 points for him, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and he caused 5 turnovers. Um, yeah, that still remains a huge problem for KD is his handle on the ball, and it's really frustrating to watch sometimes. He also had 4 of 8 3-pointers made from the field. So everyone was coming out hot tonight. Speaking of hot tonight, Tyus Jones, he might be back, scoring 17 points, had 5 of 8 threes made, along with 5 rebounds and 4 assists. I have a funny stat to bring up here, as early in the first quarter, when the Suns were still dominating great, uh, you'd normally think that Nick Richards, whose main role here being in Phoenix is to rebound and hustle, you'd think he'd have all the rebounds. But he was too busy dealing with Zubac, the Clippers center, and Tyus Jones was able to get 5 rebounds, which in the first quarter was enough to be a team leader. Actually, uh, yeah, it was team leader. He did not end the night as the team leader in rebounds, as it's a tie between Nick Richards and Devin Booker. Um, so that's just a funny stat. For some reason, Tyus Jones getting all the rebounds, but that just goes to show the level of team that that the Suns just played tonight. All of them focusing and handing on the rebounds, making it a huge effort on rebounds, and is a main reason factor why the Suns were able to succeed in that first half. Big. So here's where we start getting to a little bit of questionable choices and interesting choices. I wouldn't call this one questionable, but more interesting. So last game against the Wizards, unfortunately, 2 minutes in, Suns rookie Ryan Dunn injured his ankle, and for this game, ahead of this game, was listed as out. Now it's kind of ironic. This is my only Suns white jersey, but it's also a Ryan Dunn jersey, so kind of ironic. I'm wearing this for tonight, but so that left a position spot for the open on who is going to be starting for Ryan Dunn this game ahead of this huge game. And the most reasonable thought was probably going to be Bradley Beal, as he did start in the second half for the Washington Wizards when Dunn was already out. So why not do this game? But this is a surprising one for me, and I think it's really a reassuring thing on where the Suns are now trying to be. Royce O'Neal got the start instead of Ryan Dunn and Bradley Beal in the starting lineup. And Royce O'Neal, what a night. He joins the rest of the team in having a pretty good offensive night. I mean, when you look at the numbers, it's still pretty bad. I mean, he had 11 points, 3 out of 8 made threes total. He had 2 rebounds, 4 steals. I don't know why I said steals, but he had 4 steals out there. And honestly, he could have probably had 9 because there were so many plays where he almost jammed the ball free from someone and then just ended up not grabbing the ball. So Royce O'Neal, amazing defensive performance. I've never seen something like this. And he was able to find the net a little better than he has in the previous nights. So a very much other factor that contributed to the Suns being such a powerhouse, an offensive powerhouse in that first half. It inevitably went back down during the course of the game, granted, but Royce O'Neal still had a pretty good night, I'd say, right? So the reason why I find this interesting is because Royce O'Neal, if you don't know, I've looked at a bunch of Suns lineups in recent episodes for this Sun show. And, interestingly enough, Royce O'Neal is like when he is put into our lineups along with Tyus, Book, Royce, KD, Nurk. Like those are some of our best lineups. Actually, I think it might have been Plumlee instead of the Nurk. Um, so I definitely get this from a statistic point of view. That is why I see why Royce O'Neal is got the start tonight. And it's kind of crazy because I was also questionable about it. I thought they might start Bradley Beal, um, because Royce O'Neal he's playing fine defense, upcoming to tonight, but like his shot has been very streaky, and I thought they just might go Bradley Bill for offense, but no. And then we have results like tonight where he did live up to his starting position. Um, just a very good night for Royce O'Neal. And continuing this conversation here of the Suns being able to do go into the stats here, Nick Richards had a very questionable and interesting night, at least to some Suns fans here, as Nick Richards didn't have the greatest game. Zubac is one of the most he is a season leader. I don't have the stats on it, but he is a season leader in rebounds per game. So he can grab a lot of rebounds. He ended the night with 16, by the way. So Nick Richards was already having his hands full enough there, but Zubac was quite literally beating Nick Richards every time. And Nick Richards' ability, his defensive IQ isn't the strongest, and he picked a lot of bad fouls early on, and he ended the night with 4 fouls. So that's a contributing factor on why, if you're wondering why the Suns didn't go to Nick Richards in the later second half in the clutch moments of this game, is probably because he would have fouled. Just because they were playing Zubac again in the fourth there. So Nick Richards was not suitable for that role. Um, so then it just had to emphasize for the Suns they had to rebound as a team without Nick Richards being out there. But also the fact that Nick Richards, statistically, when you look at it again, is a minus 16 for this game. Not the best game. Most of that was because of Zubac. So that's quite literally saying he was a negative out there when he touched the floor. So you do not want to play a minus 16. That is a team low for the Suns. All right. You do not want to play a minus 16 guy out there in clutch time. And honestly, it proved to be a good decision as we'll switch to the bench here. Mason Plumlee played some great minutes, did not score a point, but like his jersey number is a plus 22, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 blocks, 5 fouls, 2 turnovers. A pretty mixed night, but I could definitely see why Mason Plumlee still keeps getting minutes nowadays. If you're wondering why Mason Plumlee just keeps getting minutes, is because he's never a negative out there. It's a strange stat that I've noticed over these course of the games is that Mason Plumlee is never a negative out there. Like you don't see Mason Plumlee with the minus 16 out there. It's always 0. It always goes to 0 or it's a plus. So just by putting him out there, you're not really hurting the Suns. And it's a safe move. Also, I feel like he performed better tonight. This might be a little just speculation for you, but I feel like he played better because it's his ex team. Like he had some kind of X factor against his old team the Clippers, as we got Mason Plumlee from the Clippers this past offseason, if you didn't know. So great game by Mason Plumlee. Filled in very nice minutes when Nick Richards couldn't. I wouldn't have mind again. I wouldn't have mind some use of Nurkic minutes. I know there's a lot of controversy going on with use of Nurkic right now. Um, I I mean, we won our first two meetups against the Clippers with Yusuf Nurkic in the lineup, so I don't see why this one would also end up bad. Um, I will bring up a good point here. If I'm nitpicking here a little bit, is that uh, Mike Boltenhoser, our coach, was able to say during like an interview around saying that Nurk has to earn his minutes, and he knows that. So when is he going to get the time to prove himself? Like if Nurk does make a jump and suddenly becomes good again, um, how are we going to know if he doesn't get moments like this? I don't know. We still won at the end of the day without him, so uh, a fair's game, a fair's game. Uh, and then other on our bench, Grayson Allen. Let's talk about Grayson Allen real quick. Grayson Allen was a offensive machine. I did not expect him to come out tonight. One of my biggest problems, and is probably a general problem around with Grayson Allen on this team, is that his defense is very lackluster. He gets picked on a lot on defense as being targeting during clutch moments. I mean, his 2 years span here in Phoenix, he's always been picked on during game winners. I swear, I've seen so many close games where they target Grayson Allen out there. But he's been able to hold his own. And this game, he quite literally impressed me um, with some of his defense out there, being able to hold back uh, sometimes players like James Harden and KPJ. It was quite it was amazing out there. It was another factor that the Suns needed to dominate that first half, along with his four made threes. 4 out of 7 made threes for the night. I have the stats here. For the second quarter, Grayson Allen in the second quarter was already up to 11 points, 3 of 4 from three. So he quite literally came out and dominated. A big, very big answer for the Suns. What we needed from our bench here, as he leads our whole bench. He had 18 points on the night and single-handedly beat the Clippers scoring bench, as the Clippers whole bench had scored only 8 points. And Grayson's got 8 points and then plus 10. So quite a night for Grayson Allen. I love him for it. He had 6 rebounds as well, and he had a steal and a block. I don't remember when he had a block, but okay, whatever, Grayson Allen. Okay, man. All right, whatever. This has been an amazing night for Grayson Allen. So that leaves one more person on this bench, and honestly, we should talk about something, as there was a incident that happened for the Phoenix Suns that I think I would like to bring up here. That happened recently, and I don't know if most of you have been informed on like all Suns news recently. Um, but it's obviously a concerning factor concerning Bradley Bill and his place here in the Valley. Um, if you don't know what I'm referring to, it is a I I I guess Instagram post or a Twitter post. She posted on Twitter like today, but it is of Bradley Bill's wife making a post about her experience at a Suns game. Uh, from what it looks like, is she's referring to this past Wizards versus Suns game. So literally last game, she was talking about her experience as being in the stands and having a. I won't quote it all. I mean, maybe in the video I'll have the whole post put up right here. So I'll try to do my best to recap it. Essentially, there was a Suns fan in the crowd that was doing some intense heckling in the stands. Um, and from the Bill's wife, this was Bill's wife who posted this quote. It said the heckling had got so bad that in the third quarter of the game, she had to send her kids away because Bill does have a family, if you don't know. So she had to send her kids away in the third. They eventually did come back in the fourth, in which that same fan that was heckling made a comment. I won't repeat it too verbatim, but he did call Bradley Bill a bum and suggested uh, a trade for Jimmy Butler. So it is at that point that security had to get involved, and this fan was removed from Phoenix or from the game. This is quite a sad tale for Suns fans. It's quite a disappointment in the Suns community. Wherever your um, opinions lie on Bradley Bill, this is unacceptable behavior. I think that goes without saying here that this is very unacceptable. The fact that imagine this that you're heckling so bad to you're heckling so bad around children that they have to be removed. Like that's some extreme heckling done there. It's just a very uncool move from that Suns fan, I should say. Um, it's just very uncool. I don't know what he was planning to do. Like if his little message there, his little scream saying "trade this bum for Jimmy Butler," if that was to if Bradley Bill was going to hear that, Bradley Bill ain't hearing that from your nosebleeds chair. First of all, okay, it's just very a nuisance. All right, you're being a nuisance in Suns fans, and this guy is just a clear a hole in the just during that game. Very uncool, and I'm sorry for Bradley Bill's wife and his family in general. It's a very disgusting situation by this supposed Suns fan. And it sucks because Bradley Bill has been doing basically everything he's been asked to do here as a Phoenix Sun. And it sucks that even in your home arena, you can't even get support from them. And it's just disgusting. Like off besides the all the game stats, Bradley Bill has been an amazing human being. He's been really great to watch from all the pregame material and footage wherever you find social media. Uh, he just seems like a really great guy, and even in his post-game interviews, he just wants to do his best for the Suns. And it sucks that he can't deliver sometimes, and it creates such disappointment to Suns fans that they have to go to these levels of extreme, not only ruining Bradley Bill's experience here, but ruining experiences around others uh, at games. This sucks, and it's very an ugly mark, uncool mark done by the Suns, by Suns fans here. So that's a little tale I just wanted to say out here. I don't know if I got that exactly right, as I'm kind of doing this on the spot. So I will say though that what a weird choice. All right, because assuming that was the Wizards and Suns game that fan was present at and was heckling Bradley Bill at, what a terrible choice to heckle Bradley Bill. That game he had 20 points. What? What are you doing, man? And the Suns won. I mean, they allowed a Wizards 2-point lead, but that was very early on in the game. They allowed the Wizards to somewhat come back, but they never took the lead. The Suns won at the end of the day. So what are you complaining about? It's just dumb. It's this situation is so dumb, and it's very sad for Bradley Bill. And what I feel like kind of has is it's very undeserved when you look at it that way. Um, and it feels like a professional, like unprofessional betrayal. The fact that from what we all heard from the Suns office and from Bradley Beal himself, that the Suns really pushed for Bradley Beal to come here to Phoenix, and then not even a year later. Well, actually, I don't. Yeah, not even a year later. Uh, I believe. Actually, I don't know how long it's been, but just recently that we're looking to get off of him, just trade him somewhere else. It's very uncool, but I guess Bradley Bill is accustomed to that experience, and it's definitely unprofessional, I would say, coming from the Suns franchise. If these rumors of Jimmy Butler is true, it's just a bad choice in hindsight when you look at it. I mean, Bradley Bill working here on the Suns was a bit of a questionable choice, and it was a risk that they're willing to take. So it's this situation continues to get worse for Bradley Bill. Um, so that is basically all I have to say on that. Uh, Bradley Bill tonight was a plus 10. He had 9 points. I will mention his off shooting nights, although he did warm up in the second half. Um, he had 4 assists, 2 rebounds, 2 steals, and 4 turnovers and 2 personal fouls. So a pretty a serviceable night from Bradley Bill off of the bench here. Um, Hopefully he'll be able to pick it up next game. Uh, it's it sucks, but I mean it's been working so far. Bradley Bill off of the bench here, as in our last couple of games, the Suns have been picking it up. In our last 10, the Suns are now 8-2 in the last 10. So I don't know. Maybe we'll give this Bill off the bench another shot. So that gives me a way to segue into the standings. So Clippers losing to the Suns is a very big deal. I've brought this up in last night's show, or I guess last game's show, that the Suns have some pretty important games coming up if they want to continue climbing up the West. The Suns did fall back momentarily into the 9th seed because Mavs won tonight. But the Suns are back up at 8th. They are now 24-21 on the season, and they closed the gap between them and the Clippers. The Clippers were the 6th seed, or they are the 6th seed now. So we're closing the gap, people. This is a big win in every way. And it's going to get even bigger. The expectations are going to get even bigger here, as our next Suns game time will be on January 29th, or Wednesday, against the Minnesota Timberwolves. The reason why that is such a big game is because they are literally the 7th seed. So if we win that game, I don't think the Timberwolves have any other games between now and then. Although I will quickly check. Yeah, no. So that will be both of our games. So if the Suns win that game, that will put them, that will tie him. Yeah, that will tie them at 25-21 or 22. Wait, hold up. The math is not mathing. No, that would put the Suns ahead. Okay, my bad. That would move the Suns into the 7th seed, putting the Suns even higher on the West. So big game next time, Wednesday, January 29th, Minnesota at Phoenix, and will be the next time I'll be catching you. All right? Cool. All right. See you guys then. Next Suns game time. Hey, if you guys enjoyed this content, please remember to like, comment, subscribe. It really helps out all the channel. And yeah, thank you for your continued support. And we'll see you next Suns game time. Enjoy your Suns win out there. And we will see you next time. All right. Enjoy your night.
Kevin Durant delivers. Gorgeous move from Bradley Beal.
Personally, I feel like that brother needed help.
Devin Booker with the clutch three.
36.